That's right, Liesl. Now, acclaimed photographer Eric Miller celebrates the lives of a group of extraordinary Khayelitsha grandmothers who call themselves the Nevergiveups. And this project of his highlights the crucial role that the grandmothers actually are playing in holding together communities across South Africa. And I understand that personally. And Eric, when I heard about what you're doing, it really just kind of moved me because I grew up raised by my grandparents, in specific my grandmother as well, who played quite a big role in my life. But tell me a bit about what the Nevergiveups project is all about.
Well, I'd love to claim it all for myself, as you've almost indicated here, but actually I've been working with several other people and collaborating with other people. I started with the writer Joanne Smethram, who asked me to join her some years ago to do pictures for a newspaper story about a group of grandmothers. It was the first time that I'd met them, and I was completely blown away, as was she, and we decided we wanted to do more and more work about this, to talk about the stories, to find out about their lives and the kind of experiences that they'd had. So we carried on working on that.
Yeah. So now, in taking all of these photographs we're going to be checking out just now, what were your considerations? I mean, just from a photographic point of view, if you could say that.
I wanted to show the grandmothers in a way that was very respectful of their dignity, their achievements, their struggles. I wanted them not to be victims, because they're not. The stories that I heard were stories of extraordinary challenge and a lot of difficulties in their lives, but all of them have kind of grown beyond that. And in terms of the challenges that they've had, they've really proved their worth and their success at doing what they've been doing.
Now tell me a little bit, I mean, we've got some pictures that we're going to take a look at just now of a couple of the ladies that you've chosen. I think the first one of which is grandmother Mfikile, is it?
Skefile.
Tell us a bit about her background, because obviously in doing this, you got to really just get an insight into their lives.
I'll tell you one little aspect about her which kind of highlights the extraordinary value of what they've done. She talks in the interviews that Joanne and I did with her, she talks about how in a period of her life she survived by picking off garbage dumps, by finding clothing and things for her family, and going home and washing it and working on the garbage dump. She describes her first day on the garbage dump where she felt absolutely nauseous from being there. And then she ends the interview where she talks about how proud she feels that she did that and that she got beyond that and that she actually held the family together. And when I spoke to her granddaughter just, her eyes light up, and she talks about her grandmother as if she is an Olympic hero, you know, and she certainly has won gold for the granddaughter, and she talks about her as a role model and the inspiration in her life. It's extraordinary to hear her talking.
Now tell us, we got a picture of her, and another lady you also worked with was grandmother Mfamana. Yes. Tell us about her.
Mrs. Mfamana, we met her when she was living in Khayelitsha. She was looking after a family of about 14 people in the household, in a small Khayelitsha home. We also made a trip to the Eastern Cape to go and talk to her. We did several interviews with her in Cape Town, and then we wanted to see the context and the environment that the grandmothers came from. So we made a trip, Joanne and I went to the Eastern Cape, and we interviewed her there. And she told a story. She told several stories. She told one about this process of ukutwala, where a young woman is taken to be a bride, not necessarily with her permission, usually sort of unknowingly or against her will. Yeah. And she tells in a very poignant way. She also tells a story, a wonderful story about when they were children, how they used to play with dolls and how they used to make dolls from dried out millie cobs. And her descriptions are so graphic and magnificent that every time I watch it, and I've watched the video clip several times, it just brings a smile to my face every time I watch it. She talks about how they made the dresses and then how they made the breasts and a nice bum and, you know, the whole thing. And she absolutely chuckles when she tells the story.
So you got to explore their life stories, their childhoods. And I know that another lady that you worked with is Grandma Mdaka as well,
yes.
Right? Tell us a bit about her story.
Mrs. Mdaka, you know, they're all, and I use the word extraordinary quite often.
Yeah.
I don't want to overplay it, but she is an incredible woman. She was on the brink of suicide at one point. Her son kind of pulled her back, and then she got involved with the grandmothers at GAPA, the Grandmothers Against Poverty and AIDS. And as many of them say, GAPA saved their lives. It gave them a community and a support system. to deal with the issues that they were dealing with day by day. And Mrs. Mdaka also introduced us to her daughter Phyllis. We went with her when Phyllis was in hospital. We went to the hospital to visit Phyllis. We did an interview with Phyllis where she was incredibly blunt and open about the fact that she was dying. And she was worried about her mother. That was her concern. She, you know, at the point that she was really on her way out, she was worried about how's her mother going to cope. And Mrs. Mdaka copes. She looks after several people. She's an incredibly tough woman.
Wow. Now, so just in closing, I mean, your exhibition is now available for people to go and have a look at.
Yeah.
It started on the 1st of August until the 31st. What's the message that you'd like people to get from this, especially with this being Women's Month, the encouragement that you'd like women and South Africans to get from this?
Well, the title of the exhibition is The Nevergiveups, and it comes from the Xhosa term Amache Inhliziyo, which is a reference to resilience and the resilience of these women and the strength of the women. And that's really the basic message. I've never seen them as victims. I've never seen them as, shame. You know, it's like, wow,
they're
these
really
women are
strong
incredible.
women.
They really are strong grandmothers, and they are holding their families and they're holding communities together.
Yeah.
And they've also spread their message into other communities. So it's really, they're an incredible group of people.
Lovely, beautiful stuff. Well, Eric, thank you so much. And from a personal note, thank you for honouring our grandmothers and really putting them out there on the spotlight for the wonderful work that they do. Because, like I said, I can't imagine my life without my grandmother having been part of it. Now, of course, you are welcome to go and take a look at the exhibition at the Artscape Arts Festival that has started on the 1st of August. It's going on until the 31st of August. Make sure you catch it. The entrance to the exhibition is free. Over to you, Liesl.